this is Lucario and welcome to another one of my Vidreps, and today we have GeorgeAgd versus Vakje on a random map. And GeorgeAgd will be playing his Pure Fire deck versus Vakje's Shadow Nature deck. And this will be a very interesting matchup because, you know, most players believe that Pure Fire has extreme difficulties facing the deep ones, and Vakje is playing a Shadow Nature deck, which means George will be facing buff deep ones in the near future. Buff deep ones. So some people say Pure Fire has no chance. George disagrees. Anyway, Vakje grabs a quick well, and George goes for the rush, builds two Sunstriders. Fire Sworn to knock back the Frenzied Forsaken. This is one of Fire T1's more powerful units now, actually. In the Lost Souls edition. Nice eruption from George, killing Forsaken and the Nox Troopers. So George has done a very good job in keeping Vakje down. However, Vakje is going to frenzy these Forsaken most likely, and George is going to retreat. Yeah. Anyway, the T1 fight in this game is very interesting because it shows the new Lost Souls T1 Shadow versus Fire T1, where Fire has gained the new trick, the new card Fire Sworn. A very effective card actually. And as you can see there, Vakje uses his Dread Charger to the Reaping. He used his Dread Charger's ability on the Forsaken to get this extra shield, which is always good when you have Frenzied Forsaken lying around. You always want to use the Dread Charger ability on them. It's just so useful. Anyway, as I was saying, Fire Sworn, the new Lost Souls card, knocks back small units, which makes it invaluable against against Shadow T1 because Frenzied Forsaken are Fire T1's one of the hardest things to counter for Fire T1, and here we have a nice card that counters it just fine, except it sucks against Nox Troopers. But nice eruption, so it doesn't die, but I think this is one nasty surprise. Yeah, one nasty surprise kills the Sunstriders and leaves the Fire Sworn badly damaged. And Vakje is going for the offensive. Anyway, I don't believe George is going to use Mortar Towers in this replay. Actually, Mortar Towers are really the other thing that beats Frenzied Forsaken for Fire T1, other than well-timed eruptions and things. So I'm glad George is not using Mortar Towers. That would just be really lame, cheap on this map. And Fire Sworn, as you can see, they just counter small units like there's no tomorrow. The only problem is they cost 75 power and have relatively low health for 75 power. So as you can see, it just goes down fairly quickly to two sets of Forsaken, even though it does kill them. So as you can see, Fire T1 has gotten quite a big advantage over Shadow T1 because of the Fire Sworn, which does very well against Forsaken, especially Frenzied Forsaken. Both players contend to lay back for a while. Vakje might be going for a big assault, using Forsaken as his main battle force. Before, I think Fire would have just started building a Mortar Tower about here to prevent attacks, but this is a bit different because now they have the Fire Sworn. Goes straight down to a Nox Trooper, but since Nox Trooper plus ability is 75 power and the Fire Sworn is 75 power also, it is not actually in fact a power disadvantage for George, so Nox Troopers don't exactly counter the Fire Sworn because very often they die just as very often they die trying to kill the Fire Sworn, and they get taken down by the Sunstriders that support the Fire Sworn. Because of course, you know, Sunstriders M damage and the Fire Sworn has the S knockback, so it makes a pretty good combo against Pure Shadow. And of course the Scavengers for the sheer damage they do to Forsaken. And this set of Forsaken can die pretty fast. This Nox Trooper is going to get away with killing the Fire Sworn though. One record from George. If he goes for a Sunderer, this could be very bad for Vakje. And he does in fact have enough power for the Sunderer rush, which is, you know, Wrecker ability. Use the Wrecker ability, then just instantly send the Sunderer over. Yeah, that's very possible actually. But these Forsaken are not frenzied. Not a very good eruption from George, but I think you'll see some much better ones later in the game. Eruption is one on fire. Eruption is a very good card. But in any case, Fire Sworn are dealing with the Forsaken very well because basically they counter the Forsaken, and by the time the Forsaken are dead, the Fire Sworn is still alive. So it's pretty much like Fire's Frost Mage, plus it countered L units. Anyway, both players grabbing their T2. George going for Fire, Vakje going for the Nature, Shadow for the Nature, so we'll get a Shadow Nature type attack going on here. Dark Elf Assassin's one of the best Shadow Splash cards in the game, I believe, because they're first one thing they counter S units, and the other thing they absolutely destroy Skyfire Drakes. Even when the Skyfire Drakes have Ravage on them, their damage output is just enormous once you activate their ability. So if you play Shadow Splash, you really should consider using these cards. Nightcrawler's the other main Shadow Splash card that everyone should use. If you play a Shadow Nature deck, I think you'd be better off using Dark Elf Assassins and Nightcrawlers compared to Spirit Hunters. Spirit Hunters are really outclassed by the Dark Elf Assassins. Anyway, this is quite a big assault from Vakje. I think George might want to go try for a Wildfire or another Lava Field since he does have enough power for the Lava Field. Very well timed Lava Field, snipes the Nightcrawler just like that, and I don't think these Dark Elf Assassins will do too well against the Enforcers, because I'm sure they have the ability, but it doesn't do any bonus damage against the Enforcers. And look, a Ravage on this Enforcer, making it nigh invulnerable to harm, buying George more time, and his Enforcer wipes out the remaining Dark Elf Assassins while they're what do you call it? Immobile, unable to attack. Yeah. Anyway, nice Wildfire from George. It's basically one of Pure Fire's best cards. It's like a miniature CC because basically it means you better move your stuff out of the Wildfire or prepare to die. And George playing very well, moving his Enforcer around, getting them away from the Dark Elf Assassins, and then he just comes right on back when the Dark Elf Assassins are in their immobile, unable to attack state. And Vakje summons a deep one. Yes, deep one. Let's see what George has to do about this. They both have about the same amount of power. George might want to turn this Enforcer around and just go for a final charge on the deep one before it dies. Actually, it looked like he was trying to go for the well, but the deep one got him in time.